Good evening, everyone. I've been I've 100% been. Sorry, I'm just opening a can of juice. I've been wanting to do a video today, and the main thing that's been like I've said to you before, I'll do my best to never just make a video for the sake of it, okay? But I've been aware that I did a video a few weeks ago, and I called it How to Build Your Portfolio Episode 1, okay? And I just feel a really great opportunity today to do an Episode 2 of it, okay? As I talk to you now, I'm kind of in two minds how to take the angle on it exactly, okay? So I'm just going to go with the one that keeps coming back to me, okay? Now, I've had, you know, I can honestly say everyone who has ever interacted with me on YouTube with questions or comments or people offering like-minded kind of advice, they're highlighting similar things to what I highlight for yous and with yous, um, has been really on the ball and really, we all show when you talk about football in general. Forget the platform. When we talk about football in general, we've all got opinions. We've all got an angle on something. We've all got favourites. In any manner. Teams, players, positions, types of players. Anything. And some of the stuff I get is number one, incredible information, and even though as much as I've been on Twitter for the last week saying, listen, I've got a decent wee track record on the go here with some of the things I'm highlighting, and for some of you who might be short termers, quick turnarounds on it, and again for some of the longer ones, I've not really had anything that's flopped. The only thing I'm kind of I would say embarrassed about is whenever, because I go back and watch videos for like inspiration, or think, oh, is there something I could pick up on, or half a point I've left here, is that a good time to go back and visit it, that type of thing. But I watch a couple of videos, especially the ones that have got the most views on the channel, and one of the things I've said quite a few times is just how like certain I am, or how confident I am on like Ronaldo getting, especially some of the early videos, like getting back to £10 when he was like 9, 12 and stuff like this. Which, when you look back in hindsight, it is a bit, I'm just like, oh Jesus, I couldn't have been more wrong. He's really fluttered around for quite a while at the level he's at, That being said, he's done pretty well with dividends the time we've held him, and, when we bought him was a great bottoming out point anyway. But some of the stuff that I get, like questions wise, I find I really struggle to answer, okay? Now, if you look at episode 1 of How to Build Your Portfolio, the main thing I did was I categorised different types of holdings to the best of my ability, and I'll put it out to the floor if there was anything you would want to add into the list, or anything I kind of missed out altogether. And then on another column I had percentages of how much your portfolio should be dedicated to different types of holdings, okay? And go back and watch the video. I'm going to leave a link in the description below, okay? But and this is just a little bit of me talking to you, right? Whoever's listening to this, you, right? When you ask me questions about, I had a really good one recently, and I had to be kind of specific because it was something I just felt the need to be honest. And at the same time, I was like, I need to keep it relatively vague, okay? Now, the reason some answers, and this is from anyone that you could interact with on social media, Twitter, YouTube, whatever, you will notice a propensity for people to be relatively vague, okay? And that's because at the end of the day, it's not my money, it's your money, and the last thing you ever want to do is be responsible for somebody making a negative decision. We're all happy for you to make a positive decision off the back of something you've made, had a conversation with someone about, or listened to, or read, but no one wants to ever take responsibility for anyone potentially losing money, because nobody wants anyone to lose any money. It's as simple as that. But what makes it really, and I'm prepared to be as direct and specific as I possibly can be, right? But when you look at that episode 1 of How to Build Your Portfolio, the main thing on all the kind of breakdowns of the type of holdings is the time scale that you want to have in each, and it depends on you as an individual. Do you want to go for a safe long-term, short-term gamble, speculative, just something you've got a gut feeling about, all the categories we went through. But they are all relative, they're pretty much all time scale related. So when I get questions like that, I don't know how your portfolio is built. I don't know what you are looking for, short-term, mid-term, long-term. I don't know how much, you might ask me about a specific player, should I buy, should I sell, right? I don't know what percentage of your portfolio is going to be committed to on that individual. I don't know all these different little factors that you will know inside out, upside down, because it's your portfolio, it's your money. Like me and my portfolio, I know it backwards, you know. I can just look at this for 2 seconds and I'll know if players are up and down without the green and red, you know. I look at it that often, okay. So it does become really, really difficult, okay. Now, one thing, as I say, I'm always happy to be open and direct, right. For anyone who's new to the platform, because I've seen a video on the Football Index official channel where they said that I'm pretty sure user base has went up by 1/3 since the Index share split announcement. Never mind it going live, the announcement. User base has went up by about 1/3, right? I'm pretty sure they said something to that effect, okay? So there's a good chance anyone watching this is relatively new to the Index. And what I would call relatively new is certainly anyone who has never been on the Index before IPDs and played dividends, okay, which is goal, assists and clean sheets, right? If you've only been on the Index and you've only known them to be in existence, then you are new, right? And hope that doesn't offend you, right? But you are new, right? I've been here just over a year, so I'm not that long in the tooth either. You know, there's guys on Twitter and different places that have been on it since day one, and some of you have probably been here much longer than me. You know, it's just a fact, you know. But especially if you are someone who I would categorise in relation to me, I would say is new, what you need to first of all establish is the sort of stuff we spoke about already: time scale, what type of holding it is, this, that and the other thing, right? But to call a spade, you need to get winners in quick, okay? So when some of the questions and some of the highlights that you guys are making to me are about a specific player, right? What I'm always worried about is the feelings I get. So sometimes you can hold on to somebody. If you watch the videos, you'll know I've got a kind of love-hate relationship with Christian Eriksen. And, you know, I've had experiences with a few others. And if you go back and watch some videos, you'll probably have a good giggle at some of them now. But you need to get winners in quick, okay? So we've had a great kind of media period that's coming to an end tonight, okay? As we sit today, I put a wee tweet out earlier on pleading to any journalists that if they fancied writing a wee story about Eden Hazard, that would be nice. So he could finish third and we can have 2 winners in the media. We've done pretty well. I've not went back and tallied it up. I'll do that tomorrow probably and talk to you about that. But we've done pretty well with winners on the international break for the media, which has been nice, okay? But whenever you're doing anything like this, guys, you have to see growth, you have to see movement, you have to see improvement. So when you're building your portfolio, regardless of how you would categorise anyone, you 100% need to have, in my eyes, something to the realm of one of the higher brackets we discussed. The highest bracket we discussed was 40%, right? So one of the higher brackets, you need to have committed to something that is going to earn money, return dividends, right? The big news that Football Index dropped, I think it was yesterday, was that they're going to do IPDs daily again. They started off when they tested IPDs, they did it daily, and then they went to weekly after the test. So they're going to go back to that again, which is going to be great, okay? Now, especially if you're a new user, and you might, you know, when I was new, my first couple of months, I didn't have much more than, I had less than £200 for a fair period of time before I got money behind me and put more in and really committed to playing with the platform and making it my sole kind of gambling focus, right? And you guys, again, been on the channel for a while, you know, I don't really think of this as gambling, and I use it to replace accumulators and then play bets online and that type of thing. But you do 100% need to have something that's going to make you money, because when you've got smaller portfolios, let's just say £140, right? If you've got a £140 portfolio, and I say I've not worked out the exact numbers, right? But let's say over the media period that we've had now, if you've had a couple of winners, and I've had Sterling and Ronaldo grab a few dividends, this might be Van Dijk's second time getting me dividends. I've not had Hazard long enough, I'm not sure if he's earned any anyway, but there's been guys up here like this top list. Bale's won it the other day, Messi's always in amongst it, so is Mane, you know, Sancho, Neymar, all these guys are always in amongst buzz. So they've been winners over the last couple of days, right? When you've got a smaller portfolio, see earning like £4 over 2 weeks, and we've not even, and then if you think about what you're going to potentially earn over the weekend and have it paid out within a day, you know, goals and assists, these types of things, then that's money that you can quickly use for a couple of different things. What I would always recommend is having a player in the squad players section who is cheap, okay? That when you are picking up little dividends, okay, that you can just put away and buy like 3 of this guy, 2 of that, you know, whatever, and just make that money work for you somewhere else, doing something else, okay? That's something I would always recommend you do, because it's something as well that is very interesting. It keeps you kind of active, and the people that you probably aspire to have portfolios like have situations where they've got like Luka Jovic for like 80 pence or something like that, and he's now, you know, he's over £6. He's in, you know what I mean, you could hang on to that forever, you know, and you know, you'll be up. He's never going to be anywhere near 80 pence again. They could do a like quadruple split tomorrow and he would still be like £1.20, you know. But obviously he'd have quadrupled out, you know. So but having something like that when you're building your portfolio up is going to be it's a really good way, because see these really cheap players, right? You can look at the 3 cheapest players I've got there, right? Any one of them, they're 2% commission, and again, I hate to sound like a broken record, but you know, that's something that we talk about a lot here, is the 2% commission is the first barrier you've got to go over before you can think about selling, in my mind. You know, that's because the commission you give to Football Index is unmovable, it's non-negotiable, it is there, and for you to make any profit, that has to be addressed first and foremost. And some people will leverage their dividends off the 2%. So if I've got Van Dijk at, what have I got Van Dijk at? 173, right? So every time, this is the way some people think about it. It doesn't really work for me, if I'm honest with you. It might work for you. He's 173. If he nets me media today, it's a treble media day, I'm going to, sugar, sorry, wrong thing. I'm going to get 3 pence times 150. I'm going to get £4.50 for Van Dijk finishing top media. Okay, so for that money to go into somebody else, and all they need to do is make past that 2%, right? And 2%, when you just do it on the individual share price, is always going to be rounded up to 1 pence, right? If you sell 1 Iheanacho, you will pay 1 pence commission, even though it's 0.6 of a pence, right? They're always going to take a pence off you, right? And obviously, as you scale it up, it becomes, you know, fuller numbers, you know. So for Douglas, you can do the maths if you like, you know, but it's basically 2.5 pence roughly. So for £117, that means then I'm looking at £114.50, right? It's a proper big number rather than it always been rounded up, and that's when it becomes a bit more beneficial to sell in big numbers, because if you sold every one of them at one increment, you sold one, then because your pence has always been rounded up, you will be losing money over all the transactions, 100, 300, 15, whatever it is. So stacking up on these really cheap players, it becomes more and more cost effective, because again, if then it is genuinely 0.6 of a pence that you need them to move, or you know, 1 pence, as soon as they move up 1 pence, that's you high and dry. You've made 0.4 of a pence, and again, depending on the value of that player, if it's Vukas and Jovanovic, it's that in itself is it's a relatively acceptable percentage to make on 1 pence of a movement, you know what I mean, for any player. Whereas guys like Sterling and Van Dijk and whatever, if they move 1 pence, they go down 2 pence, it means zip. You're still in the same boat, it really doesn't change anything. But when you've got these little guys, and especially the higher you stack them, then that 2% commission becomes very easy. It's a very easy hurdle to get past. So then every pence after that, no matter how many shares you've got, if it's just 15 or even 100, you'll see I've got 100 Jovanovic there. It's £18, right? It's not a lot of money. It's one deposit, you know. It's an easy thing to achieve. But then if any price movement they make over that threshold, you know, it is absolute cream. And it might not be somebody you want to hold on to forever. See if Jovanovic turned around and within the next month he was £70, do you think I would be selling him? You know, I'd definitely sell some of them, you know, because that's brilliant. You know what I mean? That's money that, not all £18 of that, right? But a good portion of it is little dividends I've picked up. And I'll buy 4 Jovanovic, or I'll buy 5 Jovanovic, little bits and pieces of it. So that's a great way to have your money working for you, because when you're looking at your portfolio and you're first building it, it's those green columns at the very top, cost and value, are what's going to grab your attention the most. And as your cost value goes up, inevitably, as the market grows as a whole, and as some of us were saying recently, and I say it as frequently as needed, is that it's very hard to lose on the index if you're not gung-ho, quick selling, you know what I mean, just not even being sensical about it. If you're being absolutely reckless, you're just going to bleed money, you know. So you really need to work to get that cost bracket up. And again, as long as you're just being smart, you know, nothing here is rocket science, guys. Like I started off the video by saying, when you're talking about football, we've all got our favourites, and the thing is, something that's your favourite, I promise you can walk down the street and you'll find 10 people with the same favourites, you know, whether it be football team, best player ever, favourite position, most favourite type of manager, you know, that type of thing. You know, we all share a lot of the same things, you know, so see, as long as you stay, and again, it's one of the very first videos I do, it's called Key to Success on Football Index, is you stick to your guns and you really back what you like. There is tons of people that like what you like, you know what I mean? And there is tons of people that haven't realised that they like what you like yet, but when you realise that, and you realise probably other people haven't, that is a great little building block for your portfolio to really help you rise up, doing some trades, getting some success. Now, don't get me wrong, if you do this kind of method, you think about one player, you just roll the same money over, you'll probably get a chain of like 4 together, and you might have one that didn't really work out, and then maybe 2 that did really well, another one, again, is a bit neutral, but it's definitely not negative, you know, and that, you know, once you turn money around like that, as long as there is good positives in that chain, you know, you might not be the first player, and that's what you need to understand when you're building your portfolio. Not everything's a winner, not everything is going to be, you know, I can't look at Van Dijk there and go, oh, I wish all my stocks were up £100, because that's just not going to happen, like, all in the, you know, it's just not, you know. Don't get me wrong, they all might rise by significant amounts, you know, maybe a significant amount for one person is different to a significant amount for another, you know, and it's a lot easier to achieve a bigger number with a bigger investment. You know, he's £2.59 is the equivalent I bought him for. That's not cheap, you know, but it's relatively safe because I know, and again, all the stuff we're talking about. So when you're really building your portfolio, guys, these are the main numbers you need to be keeping a track of, okay? And the other key number, which I went over with you before, that you need to keep on top of, pardon me, is your net withdrawals, okay? So the market has went through a bit of a rise today, okay? And I was going to start off the video by saying, like I always do, but it's getting to this point now where we're bringing it up. The footy is down 115 points today, right? It's not a surprise to me. It's probably not a surprise to the majority of people watching this video, because after any big surge, upward surge of anything, there's always a natural plateau. Things kind of peter out, calm down a second, and can, you know, and on a lot of occasions, stagnation is decline, you know. And in this case, there is a little bit of actual decline here, you know. So your net withdrawals are so important. See, when there is a big surge like this, you know, and I've not done it yet, I'm not far away from it, if I'm being truthful with you. My portfolio is really large now for me, you know. I'm not a rich man, you know, I can't just have that money sitting doing nothing. That money will be needed at some point, I'm aware of that. And when there's periods of upward surge, you know, it's always great to actually realise profit. This is, like I've said in the video earlier on, this is your money, you know what I mean? Yeah, you need to remember that. See me showing you this little video and you look at this and this side of my portfolio and you're like, oh wow, that's amazing. £8 up, £100 up, £11 up, £48 up, you know. And Hazard has been bought with profit on Foden and Eriksen, you know, so even though he's only up 2 pence there, there's a good couple of quid of that isn't is money I've earned, you know. It's rolled, that's why my costs went up. It's not anything massive, it's maybe £6 or something, £8, I can't remember, might be more, but sorry, I just absolutely lost my train of thought there, wow. But oh yeah, sorry, so this is your money, you know what I mean, for it sitting here. This is just all show, guys, really, you know what I mean. This means nothing in the real world until it comes into your bank. And on periods like this, and I'm sure I made a comment with somebody recently saying something to the effect of, but this is your money. If you've got somebody on a massive up, let's see Douglas Luiz, right, say he went up to a pound, right, tomorrow, I am 100% going to sell some of him and take some of that money out. There's no two ways about it. You know, that's what this is here to do, is put money in my pocket. And for as long as it sits in the index, it's got the potential to earn me more. But see, if I don't withdraw any profit, then it is absolutely futile. You know what I mean? You are just kind of, sorry to be blunt, but you're just kind of kidding yourself on. You know what I mean? You need to be straight with yourself and like, do you know what? This is great. Now, don't get me wrong. What is keeping me from selling some of these players? I'll just give you a quick. Van Dijk, like I said to you before, he's practically guaranteed a Champions League semi-final. So before that point, I'm not selling him because he's only, you know, and he's at a great rate now and he's got more to go in him. Ronaldo, the same. Juventus are getting past Ajax. I don't care that he's injured. He's still winning me media and he's going to come back, and you know, when he comes back he's going to shoot, you know, he's Mr. Champions League. Hazard, Chelsea have got the easiest route to the Europa League final. He's linked to Real Madrid. He's going to be doing well in the league. Sterling doing amazing for England. Man City doing great. Man City, Man City, Man City. England, England, England. Okay, you know, so it's not the right time to really make much use of this. But there'll be areas, and I've explained to you, I'm not doing this immediately, but it's very much in the front of my mind that I need to make a withdrawal soon and take some of this money out and do something with it. I've got things to buy, things to pay for, whatever. That's not important. But you need to be thinking the same, and if you've done this already, then cool. Please don't think that I'm going to try to like dictate your finances or anything like this, but I'm just being straight with you. 100% when there's been a big surge, and when I started these videos in January, the footy was 53,000, right? So I know there's been a lot of changes to the market and a lot more people have been enticed to it. It's not a norm. It doesn't happen periodically. It's not for any other reason than the rules have been changed. It's not, a player's done great or something like this, But still, we're not really that far away from doubling in size since January. Yeah, I mean, we've 100% doubled in size since probably something like October, which is not even 6 months ago, really. So there's plenty of money to be made, guys. It's not going anywhere. It's great having pictures saying like, oh, look at this guy I bought Luka Jovic and he was 80 pence and now he's, whatever he is. I've not looked at him since before this, but I'm just going to call him £6. That's great, you know what I mean? But who cares? You know what I mean? You need money, and when you're making money, that's the best, and when you're doing betting and plays, accumulators, all this type of stuff, when you win your bet, you're absolutely buzzing. See, when you withdraw the money and it comes into your bank, you're absolutely buzzing. See, when you take the money that you've won on a bet, or even you take your stake from the winning bet and you roll it over, you do any of these things, it's not the same. It takes a big shine off it. It really does. And try and tell me I'm wrong. I've been gambling a long time. I'm 31. I've been gambling since I was 18 in different guises. And when you win something and you withdraw all the money and you enjoy it and you think to yourself, thank God I didn't, go again or roll it over or play about with it. I just took the money. I'm so glad I've got £300 in my pocket, £150 in my pocket, £8, whatever it is. And this is no different, So the title of the video and the main theme that I've been trying to get across is building your portfolio, okay? But equally, the point, and we've kind of circled around, so I'm terribly sorry. This is probably the longest video I've did ever, if not in a long time. But the point of doing this, guys, something for everyone, I guess. But the point of doing this, as I say, is putting money back in your pocket. You know what I mean? There's no point having it sitting here for vanity just so you can show your pals or tweet about it or whatever. There comes a point where you need to withdraw something, okay? So please bear that in mind as well. And if you see a great opportunity, you've hit your target, you've set, you set a goal on someone, then don't think twice. I can't show off, because the market is, and again I'm just going to finish on this point, the market is continually growing, and for so long as it's continually growing and you're staying true to yourself and you're backing the things that you believe in, not always necessarily what someone's telling you to. And I'm never telling you to do anything. As I say, all I'm doing is highlighting things, and if it ticks boxes for you and it's up your street and you can see the sense in it, or you're like-minded to me, then that's going to work out for you potentially, But when you're building a portfolio, the best thing to do is a couple of things we spoke about in the video. What we just said there, be true to yourself and pick things that you believe in. Number 2 is reinvest dividends in small, really cheap players, and when they take a little bump and a rise, it might be a good thing to roll over and build up and have a kind of stacking system going, a rolling accumulator type of thing. But equally, on the flip side, to achieve that, you need players that are going to earn you dividends, okay? The second thing is kind of links into that, is building your cost bracket, and again, if you can, the more you can do that without depositing your own money, brilliant. And then the last kind of thing is making sure that, the time that you invest in this app, this website, this platform, is reaping some kind of reward for you, because the more it does, the more you're then going to take it seriously, and you're not going to make rash decisions, quick selling, gung-ho, just trading, dropping and buying, and you're going to, it's fun, And as I say, every penny that you see in front of you right now, before Football Index, I promise you this right now, a majority of that amount of money, not all of it, a majority of that money would have seen it inside of a bookie shop or an online betting account. Would I still have that? Who knows? Most likely not. Okay. Thanks for tuning into the video, guys. I know it's been a bit long. If you want to watch this in chunks, go for it. If you get fed up after 2 minutes, I don't blame you. If you've stayed all the way to the end, congratulations. And I really do appreciate it. If you're new around here, subscribe, like, retweet, share, all that good stuff, guys. Stay out of trouble, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.